Hello everybody, my name is Nseeks, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my first ever Q&A video. I've always wanted to do one of these, but never had like a following to ask questions or people to ask questions enough to make a Q&A. I have 13 questions today that I'm very excited to answer and very excited to do this. Also, currently, it is about midnight when I'm recording this, and I have school tomorrow. So I am very tired. Don't want to stay up completely late and just ruin, the school for me tomorrow. So playing, I felt that playing public matches would not only get me mad, but also be a terrible gameplay for you guys. Because not only I'm tired, I'm not focusing, and I'm gonna die a lot, and just not fun to watch. But even knowing the Q&A, it's not about the gameplay. It's about the questions and the content. So really, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, I do care. But let's just get straight into it. The first question I have is, do you ever consider playing, or have I ever, or do I ever consider playing any other game competitively? And I'm gonna answer both parts of this question. I have considered playing other games competitively in the past, multiple times. Around the time of MW3, like right before it came out, I was thinking about trying to play pro mod on COD 4 for a computer, because my dad was talking about getting me a gaming PC back then when they were like a little bit cheaper and could run things easier, or not easier, but they could run COD 4 pro mod wouldn't take that much to run. I was considering doing that. Good thing I didn't. Not playing MW3 would have been a huge mistake. But there's that. So I almost went to COD 4 Pro Mod, which really, I don't know what my decision was of wanting to do that. I think it was just I was really interested in the jumping, like the bounce jumps, and just how the game played, how tactically it played. Because like obviously, I wasn't a CS:GO kid or anything, and that was the closest thing to CS:GO. So I was just interested, and normal COD was, I guess, getting a little boring. I was like 10, so I had the attention span of very, very young kid. But the second part of the question, do I ever plan in the future? Yes, I do. Most definitely, yes. Once I personally say when I'm done with COD, like once I'm like, okay, I've done my goal in COD, I've done what I wanted to do, I'm gonna move on to, bigger and better things. That's when I will switch. Once again, that question came from Twister. Thank you, Twister, my teammate. Moving on to question 2, do I love Rambo? Now, this is from David, my friend, and my friend from school. What he means by this is there is a pro player named Rambo Ray that, it's kind of a meme in our friend group that I'm kind of like obsessed with him. And, yes, I do love Rambo Ray. I think he is a very intelligent player, and, he's Canadian. Number 3. Will I do a part 2 of Quickscoping with Friends by Joseph, another one of my teammates. If you guys don't know what that is, if you go on my channel, and I mean like go back, like I'm talking like back to like one of the first 15 videos I ever uploaded. There's a video called Quickscoping with Friends of me when I was 8 years old, 1v1ing my friend Blackstuff. First ever commentary. I believe I was nervous as all can be, because it was my first time talking on camera ever. My sister was holding the camera while I played. And, it's just like, if you watch my YouTube, and like, you dig through it, that's the one video that just sticks out to you. You're like, oh my gosh. And, there's one part, I don't want to spoil it if you want to go watch it, but there's a funny part with my sister saying something to me after I said something. And, to answer the question, I might make a part 2, depends if I ever, find Blackstuff. Moving on to question 4. What's my story on going through clans? This was by Ballistic Gaming. Thank you, Ballistic Gaming. Also, thank you, Joseph, for the last question. But to answer that question about going through the clans, well, starting in MW2, the way I worked through clans was I, I'm trying to answer this in a way. I'm gonna answer in two different ways. I'm gonna answer in ways of when you mean clan, you mean organization, and then I'm gonna answer in different ways of when you mean player, like your team. In teams, I really stayed together a lot with most of my teams. I always, I never I was never like a 1 week type of guy. Like I never teamed with a team for a week and then, we all broke up. I took time with my teams. I made sure they knew that, we had to take time and just grow as a team. So like that was just like, I've had a lot of teams in my career, but that's obviously, some of that is under my control and not under my control. Some of those teams I wanted to disband and just move on. Some of them I have no control. But going through the teams, I believe that it was a struggle sometimes, but at the same time, going through teams lets you meet a lot of people, a lot of styles of play, and just, it helps you a lot in the end. But if we're talking about clans, that's a story, man. Started off with a team that I forget our name. We were like Viper, like Venom or something. Our owner, we named it. It wasn't like an owner. It was like MW2. I had a clan of Resistance. No, that might have been Viper. Okay, so I had a clan of Resistance, which we'll get to another question. His name Viper, and we just stuck together the whole game. And then when I switched to COD, I believe another V name, that one, like those types of names, like Venom, Dark Knight, and Poison, and all those types of names were like popular. And we stuck together for a while, and then we just kept switching orgs, little by little, we switched bigger and better orgs, and then eventually I got to an org, obviously RCM. If you know me, that's the story of me. I'm an RCM alumni, I can say. And after that, everything just went uphill. I began managing my own teams. I began, searching out for bigger and better teams. And currently, I am on Bound Esports, which is they are just amazing guys. Go give them a follow on Twitter @BoundNA. They are just some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and I am extremely happy to be part of this organization. But when it came to climbing through those ranks, it was very hard because not only do you have to prove yourself, you have to prove what you're worth, besides your gun skill and your what you do mechanically. You gotta prove what kind of person you are. You gotta prove what kind of things you can bring outside of the controller. Not outside of the control, but what kind of things you can bring besides winning and just killing for the team. Not killing for the team, but you know what I mean. And as an 8-year-old to 12-year-old, that was insanely hard for me because I never really understood that type of business. That was very hard for me because as an 8-year-old, I'm never gonna get. I was never taught how to respect manners when it comes to sports or anything like that. It was very rough, but I got through it with the help of a lot of people and just me adapting pretty well. But going through the clans back in the day was a challenge, but I believe that is one of the key components of getting big, is going through the clans and experiencing all that type of business aspect of Call of Duty, and just any other esport. What's my favorite video game? This comes from Gareth. Gareth is part of Bound Esports. He is one of our graphic designers and one of the best I've ever seen. Go give him a follow. I believe his Twitter is @GarethDesigns. If I am wrong with that, I will put a @ in my description for you guys. But what is my favorite video game? Well, I have 3 that are tied forever, and they'll never be untied, and that is MW2, Fallout New Vegas, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Modern Warfare 2 just because it's my favorite multiplayer game of all time. It is just a game that I grew up with playing. I constantly played it. I have 30, 40 days on that game. As a kid too. I'm not talking as a teenager. As a kid. And that's where I started my competitive Call of Duty career. Just my most favorite multiplayer game. Star Wars, because it is the first game that I think it was the first FPS game I ever played. Or, you know, shooter game I ever played. And that, you know, that was a lot for me back then. Like, understanding, like, a team-based shooter game. And actually being good at it. Like, that was a huge step for me. And just, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, so it just worked out perfectly. And Fallout New Vegas, because I just think it is one of the best put-together games of all time. And I just fell in love with it from the first mission to the credits. You know, just a beautiful game. And I'm not disappointed with Fallout 4 by any means. I think it's probably, you know, one of the best games of all time, people may think. And, you know, that's your opinion. I just couldn't get into it like the other Fallouts, but that just could be me. But Fallout New Vegas, Battlefront 2, and Modern Warfare 2 are definitely my favorite games of all time. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick MW2. I have the most memories on that game, whether it be good or bad. But MW2 is probably my favorite game of all time. What got me into video games? This is from Jack, the owner and current player for Bound Esports. What got me into gaming was actually my sister. My sister was a big gamer when she was younger. Used to play with my grandma and like my mom and stuff. And one day, I forget, because I used to be kind of like a sports kid. Like, I used to play sports all the time, and I'm glad I'm not like that anymore, because gaming is just my passion. And I remember one day, I think I was just annoying my sister, and my sister sent me into my grandma's room, because I spent like a lot of my childhood there, because there's no internet in our house, and you know, and they're like, I don't think we had a TV at the time, and I spent a lot of time there. And I always saw that thing, like it was the SNES, it was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I always saw this thing, but I never knew what it was. I never knew what it was. I thought it was like, you know, maybe like a VHS tape or a DVR player or something like that, you know. And then my sister one day, you know, says like, you know, you're annoying me, you know, like, you know, that type of thing. And she's like, go in there, I'll be in a second to turn this thing on. And she turned it on, and I played Donkey Kong Country on the SNES, and from that moment on, you know, that's when I got into video games. I was like, I'm beating a level. Wow, I got awarded. I can see the happiness on the character's face. I'm having just a blast right now, and I feel accomplished of beating a virtual world, and I could actually do, like, I'm playing as a gorilla, and, you know, like, that just blew my mind as a kid, and, you know, I just kept getting into more games on the SNES, then I switched to PS2, and I kept going and going, but, you know, at the core, it's all about my sister got me into video games. Like, I can't get around that. My sister is the reason why I'm playing video games, and I love her for that. Moving on. We have What Made You Pursue a Career in Call of Duty. This is also by Jack. And honestly, it just came like any other type of person pursuing a sport. I watched, you know, some old COD 4, like the National Championship. I watched, you know, some of the MW2, like, you know, well, I forget what was the thing before Twitch. I forget what it was called, but things like that. And just, you know, seeing, like, you know, Big T, Rambo, Sidrock, Punisher, you know, Assassins, the players of that era. You know, it's like watching the MJs, the Scotties, the, you know, Patrick Ewings of the 90s for basketball for other people. It's like, that's what got you into it. And, you know, that was like, that was amazing for you to watch, you know. Obviously, like, I started competitive gaming before MW2, but getting into COD, it was definitely just the aspect of the people, like Rambo, Big T, Sharp, you know, Sidrock, all of them, Placer, just their personalities got me into it, and just, you know, their playstyle, and, you know, yeah, I'd say their playstyle and their personalities is what got me into competitive Call of Duty, and just Call of Duty just looked like a very fun game. And then another question from Jack, my favorite sport. I'm gonna assume you mean play and watch. Yeah, I'll just answer both. Watch, that's actually the same thing. It's basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan. Cleveland Cavaliers fan. You know, born and raised Northeast Ohio, and I just always been a basketball fan. It's been the one sport that I can sit down, watch, and enjoy. I've started to enjoy football more, but playing insane. Oh, definitely basketball. I can't play any other sport, like at all. Like it's basketball, or I just sit there. And watching it, I've grown to like watching football a lot. But you know, when I was younger, you know, watching basketball, like I'm a huge Duke fan when it comes to basketball, and Notre Dame fan. So, you know, watching them, like especially Duke, like when they first started, not when I first started, but like when I first started watching them, you know, they won championships. They won like 3 championships when I was watching them. You know, that was just insane. And, you know, it was just a great experience. I think my first ever basketball game was a Duke game. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's 100% true. But moving on. We have Will You Marry Me from Rob. And I guess the only way I can answer that is I'm waiting for the question. I'm waiting for it. I mean, technically you asked me right there, but that's not gonna cut it, Rob. That's not gonna cut it. Moving on. Emma from Rias, our current substitute player. And I go to start streaming. Yes, I'm going to start streaming, hopefully soon. I don't know if I want to wait and try and get, like, actual recording equipment and just do it from the PS4, but I do want to start streaming, because, I don't know, I feel like I could be a good streamer if I really worked hard, because I could have that work ethic. Obviously, you're probably like, well, you don't have it on YouTube, and I understand that, but, you know, I do really want to change my ways, and eventually get to that grind that a lot of people are on, and I want to be a part of that, and streaming is what would get me there, for sure. So yes, I am going to start streaming, most likely on Twitch, but good question there. All these are great questions. Moving on, what do I think is the best game of all time? I actually had Rias tell me what this question meant, because, like, he was like, I don't know if he was asking what is my favorite, or what do I think, like with no bias, what is probably the best game of all time. And, I had to think about this one. And, like, no bias. Some of these games I don't even play, or haven't played. Zelda Ocarina of Time comes to mind. Excuse me. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time comes to mind. It's a very beautiful game, great gameplay, great story. Don't remember playing a lot of it, but if without bias, 100% that's up there. And then you know, the original Mario's up there, the third Mario's up there, Mario 64. Wow, that's a lot of Mario's right now. Minecraft is up there, surprisingly. You know, but if I had to go with one game that is like the game that's the best game of all time, it's probably the original Mario. It just, you know, it put everything into perspective for video game, you know, it saved video games, and, you know, that makes it the best video game of all time, I'd say, like, which you might not agree if I put it in that category, but yeah, that game is just fun. You cannot, like, you cannot say you would not play that game and just have fun. Like, you cannot tell me that. I won't believe you, to be honest. But, moving on. We have, by Rias again, when did I start playing comp? Now, when he asks this question, he doesn't mean COD competitive, he just means competitive gaming. And for most viewers that have been with me for a while, just know me, you know that my first game competitively was not Call of Duty. And for newer viewers, this will probably be surprising to you. The first game I played competitively was a game on the PS3 called Resistance: Fall of Man, which I consider one of the best FPS games of all time. And I started comp on that game when I was 6 years old. So, yes, that is insane. And a lot of people, you know, give me, like, weird looks, or, like, you know, like, consider, like, what? You played when you were 6? Like, what? And, yes, I played when I was 6, so I've been playing competitive gaming non-stop since I was 6 years old, and I don't regret any bit of it. And, Resistance: Fall of Man was an insane game to play back when I was younger, because well, obviously because of all the gore and everything, but also if you actually went into My apologies, but if you actually went to the competitive scene, it was a very tactical game. Very tactical, very high skill level. And very reminding of a Halo 1 type deal. I loved every minute of playing it competitively. I wish that the servers didn't get shut down, or I would be playing it, you know, trying to get some friends to play with me, or, you know, some of the old, you know, community. But yeah, that is when I started competitive, was Resistance Fall of Man. And then, eventually, around 09, I went to, Modern Warfare 2, which, obviously, for the question before in this, video, I just was drawn to. But, Resistance Fall of Man, like, I don't even know how I got into the competitive scene, because I was just a casual gamer. I played Donkey Kong and, like, a bunch of other, like, SNES games. I got a PS3, and it came with it. And my mom was very hesitant of having me play it, but I guess because I think I convinced her, because I was like, well, it's just like Battlefront 2, nothing like Battlefront 2. But I was like, well, you shoot things, so it's like the same, right? And she bought it, and I think actually playing Battlefront 2 and being competitive in that, not competitive like, but like being competitive with yourself and like trying to beat the AI, trying to beat the missions on hard and everything, and being a story mission, you know, that's what got me into a competitive mindset, going into a game where I can actually play with real life people. Like, you know, that is probably what got me that sense of, you know, competitiveness, was playing Battlefront 2 and having that, you know, that idea. But, moving on to the last question. It is, what's my biggest goal, from David? My biggest goal for this year, I'm sorry. For this year, I have many goals, and hopefully I can complete all of them this year, and or at least, you know, keep on track. Apologies, but hopefully I can keep on track with them, and hopefully get them soon in this year or in the upcoming year. But probably the biggest goal for me right now, I'd have to say two. I have to say two, and it's not like disappointing myself, not letting myself down, not like, you know, not being my own failure, not, you know, not knowing that, you know, you failed yourself. I don't want to think that moving on to the real world, since I'm currently 17 and will be going into the real world within a year, I do not want that on my shoulder, knowing that I failed my own dream, and I will do anything to not have that experience. And then now a simple one, I would just say, get my name out there. You know, I've been playing competitive gaming for 11 years, and besides more of like an underground scene of players, not many people know me, which is sad to think about, because I have been playing for a very long time. But obviously I didn't work hard enough, or things just not fall in my spot or fall in my way. But I can't blame anybody but myself for that, and I am trying my hardest to get my name out there and just become what I've been striving to be, or striving what I've wanted since I was little, which is to be, you know, a professional gamer, you know, just be a huge part of gaming. So yes, that concludes my first ever Q&A. I will possibly do another one of these, but I feel like I won't do one for a while, considering probably most of the questions will come from the same people and will be around the same, maybe. And if they do not come from the same people, they will be around the same questions, you know, what's my favorite game of all time, etc. But once I get maybe more of a bigger following, I will do another one, because, you know, obviously, more questions and, you know, more opinions, more, you know, different variety. But I just want to say thank you all for giving me these questions. I greatly appreciate it. This is literally a video I couldn't do without you guys, unless just, you know, I made 20 questions that, like, you know, what's the point of me doing them? You know, it's like, if I already know the answer, you know, like, it's questions that I would just make sure are entertaining for you. But, you know, these are questions that come from you guys, and some of them may be trolly, and some of them were extremely good. Actually, all of them were extremely good in their own way, whether it be funny or whether it be a very intelligent question. But again, thank you guys for the questions. Thank you guys for watching, If you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next chapter.